Today on Fresno State Focus, a new movement on campus focuses on building a safer community surrounding Fresno State.
Also, find out why a college education costs almost $50,000 by the time you get to wear your cap and gown.
Plus, the holidays are just around the corner, and if you love to ice skate this time of year, downtown Fresno is the place to be. All that and more on Fresno State Focus.
Hello and welcome to Fresno State Focus. I'm Jodi Parkinson.
And I'm Tia Vance.
Alumnus Bulldog Ryan Steiner ran for a cause, the Autism Center here at Fresno State. Steiner's journey was a more than 200-mile trek from San Francisco to Fresno. He crossed the finish line at the amphitheater on Saturday with the community there to welcome him. His biggest supporters, his parents, awaited him at the end of the finish line.
And so at the end of the day, it wasn't extremely difficult because I thought of all these people at the Autism Center, Mary Castro, and then the kids that sponsored me in second grade, Lincoln Elementary, and that just kept me going.
Steiner has raised $10,000 for the Autism Center so far. Visit GoFundMe.com/22222. That is 5 2s to make a donation.
ASI is proud to have been one of the leaders in the revitalization efforts to help build a stronger and safer community surrounding Fresno State for students. Being one of the most popular student movements on campus, their goal is to promote safety through many service efforts. Fresno State's Associated Students Incorporated, or as we know it as ASI, hosted its third annual Community Revitalization Summit to discuss the need of improvement of at-risk neighborhoods near campus. With all the crime in the area, the focus has been set on efforts toward improving safety, more in particular in the El Dorado Park area. Volunteer and program coordinator Ashley Rocker tells us why El Dorado Park has been chosen for their revitalization efforts.
About 10 years ago, the neighborhood got a reputation as a bad part of town because it went from student housing to low-income families.
Many students have expressed their frustrations about the crime they've seen happening in the area. The overwhelming student support for a better community and environment convinced ASI it was something students cared about. ASI President and CEO Moses Menchaca tells us future service efforts they want to utilize for this project.
We're hoping to expand on his mentorship. In some of the areas like El Dorado Park, there's tons of children, and one thing they need are solid mentors to stand there and let them know that their future is bright and that they have an opportunity to go to a place like Fresno State.
The University Police has worked consistently with ASI with the revitalization efforts of El Dorado Park. Police Chief David Huerta explains why he thinks it's important for law enforcement and the community to be involved with this.
It's important. You know, every community is different, alike and different. And I think it's obligation of law enforcement and community members to work together in identifying risks and challenges and then attempting to mitigate them through a cooperative effort.
You can help be a part of this change by volunteering your time, and for fun, you and a friend can show up for the community neighborhood cleanups that happen every weekend. The Bulldog Pantry is a Fresno State student-run food pantry that has given its time profusely to the community's dire need for food. With their partnerships, they have been able to serve hundreds of families since their first date in 2007. Joining us today is Tofiki Gafar, student and Bulldog Pantry worker for quite some time. Tofiki, thank you for being here with us today.
Hi there.
So can you tell us a little bit more about the Bulldog Pantry? How did it start? What came about it?
The Bulldog Pantry was started about in 2007 by alumni and community members, and they wanted to find a way for students to work with the community, basically with the need, like you mentioned earlier, to help students engage with the community by giving food and being involved.
So where does the food come from? How do you guys get your food?
We buy our food actually weekly from the community food bank. It's about $450 to $500 a week to buy the amount of food that we get.
Okay, so Thanksgiving is just around the corner.
Yes, it is.
And I remember you guys doing something last year for the Bulldog Pantry as well. So what are you guys normally going to do for this year for Thanksgiving?
Holidays are always very, very busy time for a nonprofit, especially like us. We are going to hand out holiday meal boxes. within the next few weeks to our families. Most of our families actually having a full-size turkey and the whole dinner spread is very, very hard for them to put together. So our job is to give them maybe a whole chicken or maybe turkeys from Fresno State or hams from Fresno State. We work with the ag department sometimes for those type of situations. So we have a couple of things coming up, and for our kids, we have a kids event, arts and crafts and reading and all this and all that. So we try our best to engage our clients' children and themselves also.
So is this open to the entire community, or is it just, how do you guys choose your people?
We have no restrictions. Anybody who comes in line, usually we're open by 9 o'clock on Saturday mornings. Most people are there in line by about 5 a.m. And with the winter coming, sometimes I try my best to tell them, don't sleep in your car, but it's so important to them. And we have no restrictions. So you're going to put an amount of effort to be there just for a few bags of groceries to get you through the week. It's very important to you, so we have no restrictions.
Can you recall a time where you've had a family that just like, you guys saved my life, and how can you recall any heartfelt moments that you've witnessed?
I would say there have been one person in general. We have a lot of families that come year after year. I've been working there. I mean, not working there. I've been volunteering there since about 2009. We have the same families, and there's a young man who goes to Hoover over here down the street, and what he does is he's become from standing in line at 5 in the morning to actually being a volunteer member. He's about to graduate high school and go on. So seeing him move through freshman to senior year is actually good. Being part of his life was important.
Yeah, well, thank you so much, Tofiki, for being here with us. We've been talking with Tofiki Gafar from the Bulldog Pantry.
As the holiday season arrives, people are out and about trying to get gifts together for family and friends. John Dix has a story of one woman who is going above and beyond for people she doesn't know.
Ask any one of her friends, and they will say that Kit Farhat is one of the best people that they know.
She will do anything to make your life better without regard to her own. She doesn't realize how much good she does just by being herself. That's just who she is.
12 years ago, she started Kit's Kits as a way of helping people that don't have anything. Collecting things that people need like socks, gloves, and even blankets, she puts them together in backpacks.
Then 4 a.m. on Christmas morning, she'll drive around Fresno looking for someone that might need a kit. So when they wake up, they'll find the kit and hopefully have everything they need to survive a Fresno winter.
She started small, only making 5 or 6 kits in a year.
It's the kits closet.
In 2010, she was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma.
Facing your death is tough. I wasn't somebody that they said, oh, you have a good chance. It was, this is going to be hard and you might not make it.
She spent the next year in treatment. She was no longer looking at cute things to wear in weekend parties.
To go from that to, okay, what do you have to eat so you don't die? What pills do you have to take so you don't die? What exercise do you have to do so you don't die? Every day is thinking about your death, and that's hard.
There was one thing that got her through it all.
Great friends. Really, to be honest, it's just all of my friends that didn't go away. They were there all the time, and I like to say that I have to be sick, but I don't have to be sick and miserable. And if I'm going to die tomorrow, I want to have enjoyed today.
She no longer has to go to treatment, but she is not done.
It took 2.5 to 3 years to start to feel somewhat normal, and I'm still on the road to recovery. I did a lot of damage to my lungs and my heart that I'm still recovering from.
She is still recovering from medical bills too. Working 2 jobs, she still does Kit's Kits, but she doesn't do it alone. Her friends help. Last year she went out wearing her angel wings and was able to deliver 50 kits.
When somebody goes through so much and then they can wake up every day and deal with the day-to-day, it really kind of makes their experiences, their everyday drudgery, maybe a little less, not so bad, not so hard, not so difficult.
Kit hopes that she can grow her kits to help more people. For her, it's not about the illness she's overcome, but the good she can still do. John Dix, Fresno State Focus.
Holidays and giving go hand in hand. In this case, giving not only brightens up children's lives, but also helps them advance their education. The Holiday Gift Project gives kids new educational books during the holidays. This project is sponsored by the First Book program here at Fresno State. Kids of all ages receive books that fit their reading level. Community Partnership Coordinator in the Richter Center, Tricia Stunt, says this program does more than just give.
No matter how much we get, it's still books that the kids wouldn't have. So that's the thing too, is it doesn't matter how little it is, it's still a lot of books that these kids get that they may not have had before.
This year, Autism Center at Fresno State will receive the donated books. Stunt says every year a new agency is selected. By simply donating $10, you are providing 4 new books. Make checks payable to First Book, 5241 North Maple Avenue, mail stop TA 120 Fresno, California 93740.
Coming up on Fresno State Focus, a program meant to engage alumni with the Fresno State community might also benefit students.
Plus, downtown Fresno's ice rink opens soon. Find out when we come back.
So you decided to go to Fresno State. Good for you. But you were too insecure to show Fresno State pride? That's a problem. Because you never bothered to show pride in your school, you are shunned by other students. Professors can smell the stench of impending failure on you and take no pity. Even the mass communication students agree you have no future. But all of this could have been avoided if you simply showed your pride for Fresno State.
I am Fresno State.
Fresno State pride. Show it or face the consequences.
College students are always looking for ways to network, and Fresno State's Discovery program might be the way to do it. Angela Sasaki tells us about a student who joined the program to help reconnect alumni with Fresno State again, but ended up being offered a job in the process.
Max Bayardo may seem like an average college student who enjoys working out, but there's something that sets this criminology major apart from his peers. He may have already landed a cadet job, and he says it is all thanks to a new initiative on campus.
I don't think it would have happened because without the Discovery program, I wouldn't even have reached out to Robert. So I owe all of this to the Discovery program.
The program was launched on campus in September. It is meant to engage alumni with the Fresno State community by matching paid student ambassadors like Bayardo with alumni who work in their field of interest. The students interview these alumni to discuss their life experiences since graduation and use that information to identify opportunities on campus that might interest them. But as you can see, it also has the potential to open doors for students. The program helped Bayardo connect with an alumnus who works in law enforcement. Deputy Police Chief Robert Navarez says he knew almost instantly that Bayardo was special.
I immediately saw that he had the ability to interact. He didn't appear very nervous. He seemed very at ease in his own skin. And I think that's an important quality for any potential police officer to possess. And for me, I sized that up pretty quickly within about 30 seconds of him walking through my door.
Matthew Schultz is the Assistant Director of Parent Engagement and Discovery Programs. He says Bayardo is the first in the program to get an opportunity like this, but that he certainly won't be the last.
And if a student kind of stands above the rest in that regard through a program like this, then certainly I would expect that there's probably more of those kinds of situations that'll come in the future.
Navarez says if the hiring process goes well, Bayardo will start working for the Fresno Police Department in December.
I just feel like not everybody gets this opportunity to get an education, to get internships. So if I'm given that opportunity, I want to make the best out of it.
And he credits the Discovery program for giving him the opportunity. Angela Sasaki, Fresno State Focus.
Internships can really help get your foot in the door when it comes to jobs. Today, KC24 photographer Julian Paredes joins us. He once interned for an amateur basketball team as a photographer, and now he is working full-time at the KC24 station. He is here to give us a little insight on the importance of interning and giving time to others. So Julian, can you tell us a little bit about why it's important to intern first for yourself? What kind of benefits do you get?
As far as my personal experience, I interned for a local basketball team called the Fresno Griffins. And it was kind of like my first experience, kind of like working in someplace professional. It was it was very interesting, only because like I was still very much new to photography and videography, and like, you know, just kind of like they had a lot of expectations of me. I almost feel like I wasn't ready. But that's fine, because internships, you know, there's kind of like no, you know, you can make your mistakes and it's fine. You know, there's really like no stakes at it. And that's kind of like the biggest benefit of internships, is that you can kind of make mistakes and, you know, it's okay, and you can kind of learn a lot, and it's a really good opportunity to learn. And that's really what it's all about. It's just learning and kind of finding your niche, because like through that internship I found out I actually really like sports photography and sports videography and camera work like that. So like kind of like I can see myself doing that in the future, and kind of like when you do your internship, that's something that you should do, is just kind of experiment, try and do a little bit of everything, produce, anchor, whatever, and just kind of learn.
Right, so those are some of the benefits for you. So what would you say is the benefit for companies, businesses to keep having internships?
Well, I think there's a lot. I mean, I know like at KC24, the assignment desk editor, or one of them at least, his name is Zach Kramer. He's kind of sort of my boss. He kind of sends me everywhere. He's 21 years old, and he, like, you know, he's just a kid, like, just from Fresno State, and he kind of got that gig just pretty much from an internship. So internships are opportunities, and if you work hard and make yourself noticed, kind of do the things that kind of nobody else really wants to do, people are going to notice that, and it might even turn into a job. Like, I know, like, from my own experience, like, a lot of people, like, you know, some people that, you know, you might have heard of, like Megan Roop or Ursula Gallardo, they've gotten jobs through internships. So, like, just if you do something to make yourself stand out, you're going to get noticed, and, you know, the company themselves will get a pretty cool employee.
All right, so really quickly, so why did you choose Fresno Griffins as your internship? Is it solely for the photography experience, or?
Honestly, it just sort of came to me. Like, there was like an internship fair here at Fresno State. I just kind of walked around, shopped around, see what I liked, and the kind of opportunity just sort of presented itself, and I kind of ran with it. And I feel like that's kind of like any sort of opportunity that you have, that's kind of what you have to do.
Okay. So there you have it from Julian Paredes. Julian, thanks for telling us a little bit about your interning experiences and offering some advice to those looking for the right internship.
It was not too long ago that a semester's worth of tuition at Fresno State was around $1,500. Now in the fall of 2014, it is close to $4,000. Kylie Shea Aldridge tells us why students are paying more and if they are even benefiting from it.
For a college student in the California state school system, it is close to $50,000 in tuition for your bachelor's degree. This is because tuition has steadily been increasing since the year 2007, when the government was less generous with the grants given to each state school.
Well, I've been here for 4 years. I'm a senior, and tuition has just gone up every year. I get financial aid, and in the first 2 years, I wouldn't have to put in any of my own money on top of it. But these past 2 years, it's just been increasing ridiculously. So on top of my financial aid, I have to pay my own money as well.
Because every student is putting more money into the school, there's a question as to if they are reaping the benefits. Possibly means smaller class sizes, nicer facilities, or more teachers.
The state got into credit crunches. They were giving less and less to the colleges to pay for the education of the students. And obviously costs go up, and as the costs were going up and the appropriations coming from the states going down, you still had to cover the difference somewhere. There was furloughs and pay cuts back in, I think, 9 and 10, and then there hadn't been any salary increases for 7 years.
We now know that the amount of staff and their pay has been what is the most affected, alongside the students who have to deal with the increased tuition rates. Furlough days and less staffers was how the school system dealt with their lack of money.
I love my job here at State, and I love teaching classes here. It's a great environment, but it's hard knowing that I could get paid a much better salary somewhere else.
There is no doubt that the students are not benefiting from these tuition increases. It is a simple matter of the government not giving as many funds. Therefore, it is in the students' hands to help keep the California state school system alive, which is why there has been a 5% increase in accepted students in order to cover fees. Kylie Shea Aldridge, Fresno State Focus.
And now it's time for your evening weather update with Fresno State Focus reporter Marina Menas. It's finally starting to cool off.
It is. It's getting like low 70s and high 60s. Yep, that's about the weather for the next week. Yeah, and we'll see a little bit of rain maybe at the beginning of next week.
I kind of miss the rain now.
Yeah, I do too. I know, it's been quite a drought, except for Halloween weekend, we had quite a bit of rain.
Oh, a lot. We actually had a lot of rain that
Yeah,
day.
I wasn't here, but I heard it was pretty crazy.
Yeah, with the wind and the dust and all. So.
Yeah. And today's pretty hot.
Yeah, you know, it is. So
especially warm. I'm not liking it for November.
I know. I had to take off my sweatshirt, but this is a shot I took earlier from Fresno State by the water fountain, and as you can see, it is clear skies and really sunny today. And I don't see any clouds, but today our current conditions are 67 degrees with humidity at 50%, and the winds are, there's a small breeze at 4 miles per hour. And then tonight we have, it's going to cool down to 54 degrees with a half moon. And then later in this week we see Thursday, tomorrow it's going to be mostly cloudy and 67 degrees. And then Friday we see the sun pick up a little bit. And Friday and Saturday is going to be 69, 68. So it's going to be a warmer weekend. And then Sunday we see that it's going to be partly cloudy and 20% chance of rain, and we hope to get a bunch of rain that day. And then Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday it's going to be 70, 69, and then 65 degrees. So it's going to be a warm week next week so far. No snow yet, I'm assuming at China Peaks, and there's not much rain.
Okay, well, coming up in sports, the equestrian team has its home opener against South Carolina.
Plus, the men's basketball team wins its first home exhibition game of the season. Stay tuned for sports with Dana Lipkin.
I am, and always will be. I am, and always will be.
Fresno State's women's equestrian team makes up a majority of the women athletes on campus. The team carries 29 girls, with 13 of them competing in the hunt seat and 16 competing Western. The equestrian team had their home opener on Friday. The girls competed against University of South Carolina. The judge of the competition, Gardner Powell, explained what she was looking for in the competition.
So it's judged on the seat, hands, guidance, and control of horse of the rider. But they have to negotiate a course of, in this case, 10 obstacles. So if you have a perfect position and you just sit there like a robot, then you may not be able to negotiate the course.
Powell also explained that she was looking for riders who were confident, which could be a challenge because the opposing team is riding horses that they are not used to riding. Fresno State fell to University of South Carolina this weekend 13-6. In the hunt seat, the Dogs lost 8-2, and in the Western seat, it was close. However, the Dogs lost 5-4. Speaking of women's athletes, the Fresno State softball coach has recruited a transfer player from Georgia. She has been named on the top 100 athletes in the East Bay and was a captain for the USA softball team. Here with us today is Malia Rivers. Thank you for joining us today, Malia. So how long have you played softball for?
I've been playing softball for as long as I can remember. I think it didn't actually get serious until I was about 8 when I joined my very first club ball team. So that was when it started to get competitive.
Okay. And when did you know that you wanted to play at a collegiate level?
Since like 3rd grade, I think, is when I was actually like, okay, I want to go and play for college and I want to go take this serious.
Okay. Excellent. And can you describe the recruiting process to be a collegiate softball player? I know that they start recruiting at like when you're a young age and stuff, right? Like how young do they start and what's the process of that?
My process was a little bit different from everyone else's. I actually started getting looked at when I was about 14, 15. My freshman year of high school is when I actually verbally committed the very first time. I verbally committed to Stanford when Coach Ford, our coach now, was there. And then about my junior year, she left Stanford, and so I didn't want to go there anymore. So then I started looking again, and I got in contact with Minnesota, so then I verbally committed there. And then I think about my senior year, right before signing day, I got in contact with Georgia, and I committed there, and then I transferred here.
Alrighty, and I know your dad was a football player here at Fresno State. Did that have any impact on your move to Fresno? Was he excited about that? How did he feel?
He was actually really excited when I told him I wanted to come here. That played a huge part in it. I wanted to be able to come home and be more familiar with where I was, and then me moving here was like a big part, like with him, and then also with our new coach, our Coach Ford now, because I've always wanted to play for her. So.
Okay, excellent. And what does it mean to you to be a Fresno State softball player?
It means everything. I absolutely love it here. The girls and the coaches are so welcoming, and I feel so at home here. I just love it.
Do you?
Yeah.
All right. Well, you play with our Kylie Shea Aldridge, correct? How is it playing with her?
I love playing with Kylie. She is such a great teammate. She's so welcoming. She always puts the team first. She's actually helped me get acquainted with a lot of the girls here, and she's just someone that I can actually look up to, and she's such a great leader on our team.
Excellent. Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us today. Here with us is Malia Rivers. We've been speaking with her about Fresno State softball. All right. The men's basketball team had their exhibition opener against the Santa Cruz Slugs on Sunday in the Save Mart Center. Marvell Harris helped put the team ahead in the first 8 minutes of the game, scoring 9 of the 10 points. He explained how it was playing their first home game together.
Just getting a feel for playing in a live game together. We had a scrimmage, I think, a week or two ago, and just getting up and down the court for a full 40 minutes and seeing what it's like to play each other for a real week game.
Defense, and that their experience for the new guys was a good thing. The next home game will be on Monday, November 14th at 7 p.m. at the Save Mart Center. That's sports. Back to you, Tia.
Thank you, Dana. It's that time of the year again, and downtown Fresno has opened the outdoor ice rink. Fresno State Focus reporter Marina Menas went downtown to check it out.
Like the world-famous tourist attractions in San Francisco's Union Square and New York's Rockefeller Center, the downtown Fresno ice rink is a must-do this time of year. Downtown Partnership President Aaron Blair says more on this special event.
And this is, again, it's one of those things. We're reestablishing tradition for families to come downtown during the holiday season, experience the rink, and drink coffee.
For the past few years, businesses have been trying to revitalize the downtown Fresno to make it safe and fun for the younger crowd. The Fulton Mall has not had the best reputation in the past. A shooting occurred just last year around this time. Now the Downtown Partnership has changed its security standards. Event coordinator Alicia Sadiq says the ice rink plays a big role in turning around the Fulton Mall.
Downtown Fresno has overnight security, which has been working diligently to make sure that crime is deterred. So we've seen a reduction in things like graffiti and other acts around downtown.
For ice skater Danielle Bouchon, going to the ice rink is something her whole family looks forward to during the holidays. Bouchon's mom was an ice skating coach and dad was a hockey player. She says she was practically raised on the ice.
We go every year during the holidays. It's a family tradition because we all grew up, the whole family, ice skating, so we love going down there.
With Thanksgiving and Christmas just around the corner, going to the downtown ice rink is the perfect way to get in the holiday spirits. They're open every day at 11 a.m. The ice rink opens tomorrow, November 13th, and runs till January 19th. It is located downtown in the Fulton Mall. Marina Menas, Fresno State Focus.
I can't wait to go to the ice rink. I think me and Dana are going to go, actually.
Yeah, we were going to go. I'm excited. I've never been to an outdoor ice rink.
Yeah,
I would love to ice skate.
Yeah,
Come with us.
They have a new coffee shop there, too. They were telling me about that. They open up late.
Let's go.
We all should.
All right. Coffee and ice skating.
Yep.
We'll be back December 3rd for our final edition of Fresno State Focus. Learn about the history of Fresno and how the Tower District is making some positive changes.
Plus, if you love music, tune in to see where you can find great places to shop for records, the vinyl kind.
Also, we'll talk about religious diversity. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you December 3rd.